All right, guys, we got Apple, Amazon earnings. Nvidia's still down there at 203s. Apple's pretty flat ahead of earnings. We also got like Coinbase, Microsoft, a bunch of other ones. Not to be honest, but it's a big day. Honestly, yesterday we had Meta. Nasdaq is down. It's been a pretty red day so far. Yeah, I'm gonna put the expectations up on the bottom of the screen here. Bullish on Amazon. Yeah, we got MicroStrategy earnings as well. We're gonna cover all of this stuff as soon as it goes live. So again, Apple's technically scheduled, just to give you guys some of these earnings expectations here today. Amazon expected at 158 on 177 or 158. I'll put these up on the bottom. Amazon expecting 158 EPS on revenue of 177.96 billion. Apple expected at 173. Apple's actually scheduled to release at 4:30. Revenue of 101.27 billion. We also have Coinbase, which is expected at 113. EPS on revenue of 1.72 billion. Yeah, after 4 p.m. Go. All right, so scrolling at the bottom of the screen. We also have MicroStrategy, Western Digital, Rocket, Roku, Cloudflare, Riot. A lot of crypto names today, to be honest. A lot of crypto names. Coinbase, Amazon, and Apple could save the market. Yeah, I mean, Coinbase... MicroStrategy is going to be interesting. MicroStrategy's got a lot of names following it. Guarantee today lost a lot of prop accounts. Yeah, honestly, I'm still very green. I haven't traded since this morning. Wild swings, man. It looked like we were going to go green on the day and a lot of stuff. You can see Amazon went red like the market did and kind of went back up. Looks like it wanted to go green and then just dumped down, back down to 224s. The lows of the day are pretty close. We only have about 25 minutes until the closing bell. Again, Amazon technically scheduled to release right at 4 p.m. on the dot. And Apple could release anytime after 4 p.m. Again, we got 24 and a half minutes left. All right, 23. All right, so here's a timer for when the numbers are going to actually drop here. I'll put 3 charts up because we got Coinbase, MicroStrategy, and more. Here's Coinbase. Another weak day for it. Bitcoin sitting at 106s right now for Bitcoin futures. Looking rough. Spot crypto space. So we will see what happens here. But Apple's still pretty green on the day overall, like net green. It dipped red for a little while. Amazon, we take a look at it here. Amazon's pretty freaking red. Coinbase is pretty red too. Overall market, if you take a look at the NASDAQ here, it's down pretty big. It's at 25.9s right now. It's over 26,000 when I woke up this morning. Broke all-time highs Wednesday. Dipping though. Or no, it broke all-time highs yesterday. Yeah, Wednesday. So Bitcoin's looking really rough. SPY also down. SPY was at 687s. I think the NASDAQ, or I think the S&P and the SPY want 700. I'm curious to see what happens if we get closer to that. Not gonna lie, I lost an eval account today, but also up 1,300 and other. That's how it goes. Yeah, for sure. Eval's not that bad. Yeah, right here. I mean, we're going by Eastern time. 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when Amazon technically is supposed to release. Amazon's set to drop right at the close. Right at the close. So. Yeah, let's do a poll here. We haven't done a poll yet. Which earnings report are you all most excited for after the closing bell? Got Apple, Amazon, and we've got Coinbase, MicroStrategy. I'm just going to group those together. Others. All right, there you go. Vote on the poll. Yeah, I'm going to cover all of it as soon as it drops right now. So, or as soon as it drops after the closing bell. We're going to cover all of it as soon as it comes out. Government's still shut down. Nvidia is going to invest $1 billion in aapl startup Poolside. Yeah, yields are elevated today still, right? Yeah, I mean, if we take a look at yields today, treasury yields and interest rates, they were over 4.1% earlier. They since dipped back down a little bit. They settled some, but they were over 4.1 earlier. You can kind of see yields since yesterday's FOMC meeting. Yields have had kind of a, yeah, they're over 4.1% up here. They're now at 4.93. So all right, looking at a quick number at our poll here. 41% are more excited about Amazon. Interesting. 30% Apple, 23% Coinbase, MicroStrategy, 7% others. Yeah, and again, awesome that you're helping. Yeah, it must be oh, indoor yard sale. Yeah, yard sales could pop off. I haven't been to one. I think the last time I went to a yard sale was up in Michigan somewhere. My kid's grandmother was there, so my mother-in-law. So her and my aunt-in-law decided to go out shopping. I decided to go with them. Can't remember what I bought. I bought something. Yeah, gold. We can take a look at gold. Coinbase at 330s. Gold back over 4,000. And again, you can kind of see how much the market respects it. We broke over 4,000, pulled back to it. This is 4,000 right here. We broke above 4,000, pulled back to it, held that level as support, and then continued higher. Look, and then just. So gold back over 4K. Some would say where it rightfully belongs. I don't know. Amazon reports in 20 minutes. Less than that, really about 18 minutes for Amazon. Apple's technically scheduled for 4:30, but it could really release anytime. So yeah, but again, just to put this in perspective, Apple's technically scheduled for 4:30. So Apple's scheduled for 50 minutes from now. We'll see what that looks like. Amazon's scheduled for right at the closing bell, right at 4 p.m. So we'll see what happens there. Amazon's starting to flush down, though. Amazon just cracked lows of the day. It's now down to 223.70s right now. 223.70s. Look at Amazon break down here ahead of this report. Yeah, I'm looking to see if we got any other. U.S. Department of Justice Secretary Duffy says air traffic will be snarled if government shutdown continues. I was hoping they get a deal done today, but low odds. We're heading towards the closing bell, though, in 16 minutes here, chat. Amazon's still breaking down here. There's some stories to pay attention to for the earnings reports today. Definitely top 3 ever. Greatest ever. Yeah, I mean, we're going to go through all the earnings. Honestly, we need to do yard sale here. Ford is going to invest $370 million in India. That news came out not that long ago. Going to invest $370 million in India, kind of defying the president's push, according to Bloomberg. Amazon's still flushing down, crack lows again right now. Look at it, it's at 223s. Get Amazon down to 223.45. So look at this drop, 223 even for a second, just rebounded back up a little bit. Apple's pretty freaking quiet here. We got 15 minutes left until the close. Apple's very choppy. Amazon's the one that's giving us some volatility. It's breaking down with everything else. 223.20s right now for Amazon. Again, we also have Coinbase and MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy's been flushing down with the price of crypto. MicroStrategy at 257s right now, right around 257 even. Coinbase as well. Again, price of Bitcoin is down to like 106, 105 something, or what is it? Let me see exactly where it's at now. The last time I looked, it was like, I think 106 something. Yeah, 106 something for the price of Bitcoin. Coinbase, MicroStrategy both down on today. Understandably so. Again, Amazon today is expecting 158 EPS on 170, roughly 178 billion in revenue. They basically expect 178 billion in revenue. You can see all of this right here on the bottom of the screen scrolling. But yeah, look at Coinbase struggling, MicroStrategy struggling a little bit today. 15 minutes until the numbers come out. All the dip buyers. I mean, it's still early. Still early. Amazon is starting to come back up here. All right, guys, Bitcoin's still flushing out. Bitcoin hit almost the low 106s. Again, AWS cloud growth is going to be a big story for Amazon. It's something you probably want to watch. Performance and acceleration of AWS. They've had a lot of glitches lately too, AWS has. And so there's been problems with Amazon Web Services lately, but watch for AWS revenue growth. It's going to be one of the big central focuses for Amazon specifically. Microsoft and Alphabet reported strong cloud results as well, so a lot of people are going to be looking at Amazon to see what that looks like for AWS. Investors are also going to be looking at CapEx being poured into AI data centers for Amazon and infrastructure for signs of early returns and margin recovery in AWS. So again, look at the market drop here. Coinbase, Bitcoin testing lows, MicroStrategy breaking down. Look at MicroStrategy fall here, 256s. Look at this. Deep drops. iPhone just had the new iPhone come out, so we're going to be looking at confirmation of strong initial sales and demand for the iPhone 17 lineup. Holiday outlook maybe for Amazon, what to watch since Amazon's like a big seller. Amazon stack's been lagging behind some of the big names in tech as well, though. Also, we've seen some cost cutting at Amazon. They said they're going to basically replace people with robots. And so watch for that. I don't think they're going to update, but look for maybe cost cutting initiatives. Large number of corporate layoff announcements recently. So pay attention to that, I think makes sense. Yeah, I mean, Amazon, I love Amazon stock. I think Amazon stock's just a good company. I think been kind of quiet though for this 2025 year. It's not up almost anything for this year, but I think overall Amazon's going to be obviously a good company long term. I don't know what they're going to do today. Again, today Amazon is expecting 158 EPS. So again, MicroStrategy breaking down. Apple's very flat here. Apple's had a really good year, I think. Actually, no. Apple's had a pretty minor year. It's up a little bit though. Amazon's basically flat on the year. That's some big swings up and down though. MicroStrategy is down on the year as well. Oh, AI stocks have been ruling. Apple's up the most on the year. They recently did their iPhone 17. You want to listen for updates in that. Line up what they're doing. How's it looking there? Yeah, the Apple move will drag NASDAQ up or down if it's big, especially. So will Amazon. So Amazon will move markets some, not as much as Apple. Apple's more heavily weighted in the S&P and the NASDAQ than Amazon is. And so if we're looking at pure market swings, Apple has the potential to move it more than Amazon does, but I think Amazon's a little bit more volatile today, and so we'll see what that means. But yeah, Apple's the more heavily weighted stock. Apple's one of the most heavily weighted stocks in the market. So Apple can really influence markets in a heavy way. So can Amazon, but not as easily. Yeah, we got 10 minutes. Again, Amazon should release in 10 minutes. Apple's coming out at like 4:30. Again, looking at our poll, 45% say they're most excited for Apple after the close, 34% Amazon, 18% Coinbase, MicroStrategy, and then 4% said they're others. We got some other stocks dropping, and we'll cover all of them within a range. Riot drops, Twilio drops, First Solar drops, Rocket Company drops, Roku drops, Western Digital, Reddit drops. So a lot of potential companies. Motorola, GoDaddy, Zillow, and more drop. Most of these are right at the closing bell. Again, Riot drops at 4:30 with Apple. Apple and Riot are scheduled for 4:30. The rest are scheduled anytime between 4 p.m. and 4:05 p.m. Eastern time. So again, look at MicroStrategy and other crypto-related stocks fall here. Coinbase. Both of these are kind of cracking lows. Here's Coinbase right here. Just broke lows again. A day at least. Again, Amazon's still testing lows also. It's been a bleak day. No AI game plan. Apple's dropping. It's possible. Yeah, government's still shut down. All right, look at Coinbase pop back up here. Again, Apple started to move a little bit. We still don't have any numbers for Apple. Again, you can see the expectations at the bottom of the screen. Apple expects... Hold on, let me make sure. Yeah, Apple is expecting, again, 173 on 101.27 billion. Coinbase expecting 113. Look at Apple go up here. So Apple's moving some. Amazon's still pretty close to the lows of the day. Apple's very flat. And again, one of the big stories is how is Amazon Web Service growth doing. Here's the close. Imbalance. Again, guys, Amazon's scheduled for 4 p.m. even. So Amazon should drop right at the closing bell. Sometimes they're late. It is certainly possible that they're late or delayed or whatever. So, again, we got about 6.5 minutes. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're caught up to the stream. There's Apple trying. It's at 271.40s. Gold still moving up. Yeah, I mean, gold back over 4,000. Would you guys rather me keep up Coinbase or MicroStrategy for the third chart? Coinbase or MicroStrategy? I can keep all of them up. I can put 4 charts up if you guys want. As long as I can do this easily. Yeah. Here's MicroStrategy. Coinbase, MicroStrategy. We'll do a little bit of both. Yeah, I saw the Nvidia Nokia deal. I did see that. Yeah, we'll watch everything that goes on, though. 4 will make it so that I can keep an eye on all the drops. Again, technically, Apple is scheduled for 4:30. Amazon's scheduled for right at the closing bell in 4.5 minutes, 5.5 minutes. Coinbase is scheduled for 4:10, so a little bit later. Reddit scheduled for 4:05. MicroStrategy scheduled for 4 p.m. on the dot. Western Digital 4:05. Rocket Companies 4:05. Roku 4:05. Cloudflare 4:15. Riot 4:30. And then there's some other ones too that you probably should watch. But again, MicroStrategy and Coinbase, both this one and this one, they're looking bleak here. Just bought puts for Amazon. Yeah, all good. Yeah, I'll put all 4 up. 5 minutes. Market bottom is in October usually. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. I mean, a lot of the big major crashes we've seen in history have been in October. So, again, time will tell. We'll see. AMD at 250. AMD at 250. Let me see. 256s. So AMD's breaking down. Nvidia came all the way back down. $200 a share. I think $200 might be a psychological level for Nvidia, though. Definitely a red day so far in markets, though, for sure. In most markets. All right, guys, 4 minutes. Again, let me know which one you're most excited for. 42% say Apple, 37% say Amazon, 15% say Coinbase, and others. Again, the big stories of this earnings report, again, ahead of this, I'll break it down one more time with 3.5 minutes left. Amazon's what should be releasing right at the close in 3.5 minutes. So we'll go over that. Amazon Web Services growth is going to be the main focus. A lot of people are paying attention to it. Microsoft and Alphabet, Google reported strong cloud results. People are going to see if Amazon backs that up too. CapEx and AI. A lot of people are going to watch for that. Early signs of early returns in margin recovery in AWS. Again, they've been announcing a bunch of layoffs recently for Amazon. People are going to want more information on those layoffs, see how that's affecting everything. Again, guidance for the fourth quarter holiday season for Amazon is big. And again, Amazon's kind of flat on the year. So Amazon should be releasing in about 3 minutes, a little bit less than that. All right, guys, here we go. 2.5 minutes. We got so many earnings too. A lot of big earnings, a lot of crypto-related earnings. Again, we'll cover all of them when they come out. We got about 2 minutes left, though. You guys ready? 2 minutes. Again, Amazon, just to throw this out there, again, expecting 158 EPS on 178 billion in revenue. 158 EPS on 178 billion in revenue for Amazon. And they're supposed to release in about a minute and a half. Again, put it in 2x speed. You can also hit the like button or the subscribe button. Hit the like and subscribe button. We appreciate it. We'll see what happens. Amazon I have puts and he suggests to carry those. I'm not telling you anything. In fact, with 1 minute left, I am not an investment professional. I'm not liable for anything that goes wrong in markets. Always make your own assessment, trade smart. I can't guarantee anything here. Do not copy me. I'm not an investment professional. Nothing here is forward-looking. There's no forward-looking statements here, chat. All right, guys, we got exactly 1 minute left. Exactly 1 minute left. Again, Apple's technically scheduled for 4:30, but Amazon, I think, is the first one dropping in about 28, 25 seconds. That's the big one that you probably want to watch first. That's the one that might move markets initially. Apple could technically release anytime after 4 p.m. And so it doesn't mean it has to come out at 4:30, but Apple's technically scheduled for 4:30 with Riot. Other ones drop at 4 p.m. like Amazon, and then I think at 4:05 p.m. like Coinbase and MicroStrategy maybe. Let me see. MicroStrategy drops right at 4 p.m. All right, guys, 20 seconds, 20 seconds. All right, here we go. And here's the closing bell. Right now. All right, there's the closing bell. Watch for Amazon. It's going to be on this left chart. I'll make it a little bit larger. Watch for Amazon. It's going to be on this left chart. Nothing yet. This left chart is Amazon right here. You'll see the movement as it happens. I don't see any movement in any of these stocks yet. Nothing yet. Low movement. MicroStrategy, Coinbase broke lows again. All right, so again, there's Coinbase. Look at Coinbase start to move here. And here's Apple in this chart right here. Here's Apple. Still waiting, nothing yet. No earnings yet. All right, there's Amazon. Amazon is out. It's all the way up to 230s right now for Amazon. Again, Amazon is out. Stick with it. Amazon is out. Flying up right now for Amazon. Jeez, dude. 236, 235s. Amazon 195 EPS versus 158 expected. Sales 180 versus 177 expected. Third quarter AWS sales 33 versus 32.39 billion expected. So better than expected everywhere for Amazon. Again, Amazon did well, and they're up big. 240s. Apple is moving with the sympathy. 241s for Amazon. Again, we're going to put this up on screen here. But Amazon killed it. They did really good. Again, 195 EPS versus 158. Third quarter sales 180 versus 177 expected. Here's the numbers right here. We're going to dig deeper into this earnings report, but give me a second. Yeah, put this up on the screen so you can see it. All right, the scroller's at the bottom of the screen. It shows you what Amazon did. 195. Amazon flying up at 242s here. Again, we're still waiting on Apple and others. Nothing really out yet with these. Amazon all the way to 244s right now. Again, here's a little bit deeper push into the numbers. You want to see more here. Amazon posted AWS beat EPS beat, revenue beat, quarter four sales guidance 206 to 213 versus 208 expected. So a little bit better guidance than expected here for Amazon, and Amazon is up to 245s, making a big push up now. And again, Apple's supposed to release at 4:30 p.m. So again, Amazon is out already. Crazy move, to be honest. Again, taking a look at Amazon, just to give you guys some of the details. Amazon sales increased 20%. North American segment sales increased 11%. International increased 14%. Again, third quarter revenue 180.17 versus 177.9 expected. They guided they got it for this year's operating income of 21 to 26 billion versus 21 billion in quarter four 2024. Again, third quarter service sales came in at 106.11 billion, product sales 74.06 billion, international segment sales 40.9 billion, operating margin was 9.7% for the third quarter. They see next quarter's operating 21 billion to 26 billion in operating profit. Fourth quarter sales 206 to 213 billion for fourth quarter guidance, 206 to 213 billion for fourth quarter guidance. Again, Amazon expects fourth quarter revenue to be about 206 to 213 billion. That's a big guidance number. Still pushing up here. There's 305. We should be seeing some numbers drop for Coinbase and MicroStrategy soon. But again, Amazon beat almost everything. AWS segment sales increased 20%. North America sales increased 11. International increased 14. So Amazon did very good. Very good. Apple up to 271. Again, they said we continue to see strong momentum and growth across Amazon as AI drives meaningful improvements in every corner of our business. AWS is growing at a pace we haven't seen since 2022, re-accelerating to 20.2% year over year. We continue to see strong demand in AI and core infrastructure, and we've been focused on accelerating capacity, adding more than 3.8 gigawatts in the past 12 months. In storage, we continue to realize the benefits of innovating in our fulfillment. All right, look, there's Coinbase numbers. So Coinbase just dropped here. Let's see what they show up. Coinbase just came out. Too many spammers in crypto. I'm still waiting on Apple numbers here, chat, too. I think Coinbase is out. Assuming it's out. All right, look at Apple move right now, guys. Look at Apple move. Now, technically, Apple's not scheduled for 4:30. But, moving, it's at 272s. Amazon's still pushing up. Yeah, Coinbase is out. I think. Quarter three was strong. They showed $74 billion market capitalization for USDC. Net revenue. Net revenue for Coinbase was 1.129 million. Or no, that's 1.793 million. Or billion. 1.793 billion for Coinbase. Wish they would just tell me what the EPS was. Coinbase is up slightly. It hasn't really reacted to it. Again, Coinbase posted adjusted EBITDA of 801 million. They expected 710 million. Revenue of 1.9 billion. Here's most of Coinbase's numbers right here in chat, if you want to see them. And still waiting on Apple. Apple's technically scheduled for 4:30, so still waiting on Apple. And Amazon's bouncing off of this level I have on the chart at like 242.50 or so. Reddit also just released. Reddit posted EPS of 80 cents. They expected 50 cents. Revenue of 585 versus 545. So revenue beat EPS and revenue as well. There's Reddit's numbers. And Amazon killed it. They beat EPS, beat revenue, beat guidance, had stronger AWS sales than expected. For Amazon, they saw continued adoption of Trainium 2, its custom AI chip, which is fully subscribed in a multi-billion-dollar business that grew 150% quarter over quarter. They launched Project Rainer, a massive AI compute cluster containing nearly 500,000 Trainium 2 chips. Bunch more stuff here. Again, it also beat guidance. Net sales expected 206 to 213 billion for next quarter. Operating income expected 21 to 26 billion. They compared to 21 billion last year. A good guidance for Amazon as well. It's up pretty reasonably from it. Again, we're still waiting on Apple. Apple's technically scheduled for 4:30, guys. So I'll put a timer up, which is in about 19 minutes. Until Apple's technically scheduled to release. 19 minutes. Again, I don't know when they're going to drop it. Sometimes they release it early. But, again, Coinbase is kind of unmoved from it. I'll put these up, and so we're still waiting on MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy, honestly, I don't know how good it is for... MicroStrategy is supposed to come out, what, 4:05? 4 p.m. I don't know if MicroStrategy's out or not. It hasn't moved much. Coinbase 144 EPS. And here's the sales for Coinbase as well. Strategy was supposed to be at 4 p.m. Zillow just released as well as Striker Company. I'm going to put all the numbers that I'm seeing right now that just got released. Zillow just came out. There's Zillow. Again, look at Zillow fly up on those numbers. Zillow posted adjusted EPS 44 versus 42. Revenue of 676 versus 670. MicroStrategy's still not out that I'm showing. Unless it's somewhere else that I don't see. Okay, look at Zillow. We got Motorola just dropped. I'll put Motorola's up. Any major company, I'll tell you guys what it is. Yeah, Coin did. Coin's not really reacting. All right, there's Zillow. We're still waiting on MicroStrategy to release too. I'll tell you when it comes out. It's moving a little bit right now, though. Not a lot, but a little bit. Here's Apple. Apple's still very flat ahead of their numbers. Their numbers are supposed to come out in about 18 minutes for Apple. In about 18 minutes. We'll see. All right, guys, let's wait for Apple. Again, things to watch for Apple's earnings report, which we're still waiting on to come out. iPhone 17 to May. They recently released iPhone 17. Watch for the new lineup updates. See if they have some more optimism about the iPhone 17. See what the reflection is in sales numbers there. We want to hear if Apple's getting into artificial intelligence in their initiatives there. A lot of people think Apple is kind of lagging behind a lot of big names in tech. So watch for that. Continued growth in high margin services revenue, like the App Store, Apple Music, iCloud, expected to be stable. China market, especially with news of a China deal done. Updates on competition there, performance in those markets is important. And yeah, didn't Apple break all-time highs pretty recently? Yeah, So still a little. It's not. I mean, Apple's what up? I can't. Let me see how much they're up on the year, percentage wise. Apple opened the year at about 240. They're at 270. That's about $300. Or that's about $30. Yeah, I mean, they're up like what, 10%, whatever that is, something around 10%. The teens, maybe, a year. So, yeah, I'm looking at MicroStrategy. It's up a little bit. Bitcoin hasn't really moved yet. Apple started to creep up a little bit here, though. Netflix? I mean, I think Netflix, yeah, they 10-for-1 stock split effective November 17th, so they're going to reduce their share size. So Netflix, after this split, just to put this in perspective, Netflix did just announce a split. Netflix will be, and look, the price is going up on the split news. They just announced it. So Netflix will be $111 a share, $112 a share. If they stay at this price up until November 17th, they will be 111. Really, if you want to be specific. 60 now. So this will be the share price if they stay. If they were going to stay exactly the same leading into it, they're going to be about $100 a share, $110 a share. Anywhere between 100 and 120, maybe higher if they run up leading into this. But about $110 a share for Netflix shares starting in November. Apple's releasing at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Most likely. We don't know exactly when, but they're probably coming 30. Most likely. We'll see. 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, look, I'm going to put Amazon and Apple up here. Here's Apple on the right side. This is what we're waiting for now. Yeah, 15 minutes just about, give or take. Yeah, Reddit's already out. I put the numbers up in chat. If you keep scrolling up, you'll see Reddit's numbers. Reddit ended up posting 80 cent EPS, 50 cents expected. Revenue of 585 versus 545 expected. Daily active users up 19% year over year to 116 million for Reddit. Reddit ended up going up, I'm pretty sure, on this report. No, they didn't actually. They're kind of neutral from it. They're starting to creep back up. They're at about $195 to $200 range. You don't live down the street, Cobra. Oh no. I could keep MicroStrategy up, but I'm going to make it smaller because I'm watching Apple in the middle. The problem is MicroStrategy was supposed to come out 15 minutes ago and it didn't. So I'm watching it. I'm watching crypto. I'm watching Coinbase, but all right, guys. Again, still sitting here waiting. Again, let me know if you got. I'm gonna end this poll, and we're gonna do another poll about Apple now. Will Apple beat or miss? Will they beat or miss for Apple? There you go. Long Street. Ears on you, Franz. I'm just assuming you're German with that name. It's October, and so probably that time. All right, guys, look at MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy might be out already here. We're still waiting. Intel is in all talks to acquire AI chip startup Sambanova, according to Bloomberg. Netflix announces 10-for-1 split, so we did have that news. Apple will beat, but the stock price is already high. Yeah, MicroStrategy is starting to move here. I still call it MicroStrategy. I'm better than that, but get MicroStrategy at 260. Still waiting on Apple. Apple number is supposed to drop in 11 minutes, chat. 11 minutes. $244.50s for Amazon. Fed Representative Greer says probe of China trade practices moving forward. U.S. and China will make milestones. All right, guys, we got 10 minutes left. Yeah, I mean, if strategy's out, I don't see it. I see them. I don't see it on their site. The webinar. I joined their webinar, but I don't see it on the actual site. And I don't see it reported already. All right, Amazon's still moving up here after killing it with earnings. Amazon came in better than expected for EPS, revenue, guidance, Q4 guidance, AWS revenue. I don't really have a prediction for earnings. Earnings are too wild and move. I think Apple will beat EPS and revenue. The question is whether they move up from it and what are the specifics in the rest of their numbers, and I'm not sure. Just gotta wait and see. Like, what are the specifics in these numbers? I really don't know. And Apple's set to drop at about 10 minutes at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. Technically is when they're scheduled. They could always release it early. They really could. They could always release this early. We don't really know what it's going to be, but they could obviously release this early. I've seen them do it a couple times. NVIDIA sometimes is actually late. MicroStrategy's still not out with their numbers, so I don't know what's going on with MicroStrategy. Not that I can see. If you guys see MicroStrategy's numbers, let me know. But they were supposed to release 30 minutes ago, and we're not really seeing anything. They're kind of... Coinbase is up a little bit from their earnings report, not a ton, but up some. I think they missed trading volume numbers again, though, and so Coinbase is kind of flat, up slightly. NVIDIA is actually falling down right now. If we put up NVIDIA here on the right side of this chart, NVIDIA is actually dipping down a little bit, but still waiting for Apple numbers, technically scheduled for 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, Apple is expecting 173 EPS on 101.27 billion in revenue. I like MicroStrategy as a company. I like some of their ETFs too. They're taking an accumulation long-term look at Bitcoin, and I think that's worked so far. Gonna get an Amazon tattoo? Be careful, brother. Again, I did a poll. Will Apple beat or miss their Q3 earnings? 70% say beat, 29% say miss. Still waiting for Apple to come out here with their numbers. Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin's holding a little bit now. It's at 107. So, see what Bitcoin does. Yeah, I'll put up MicroStrategy. Just, you're welcome. But I don't know where its earnings are at. It's supposed to release 22 minutes ago. Still nothing. Still creeping up MicroStrategy up there. MicroStrategy is out. Well, what are they then? MicroStrategy's not moving. Okay, there they go. They are out. MicroStrategy posted 3.9 billion operating income, 2.8 billion net income, 842 diluted EPS in quarter 3. They hold 640,808 Bitcoin holdings at a total cost of 47.44 billion, or 74,000 per Bitcoin, roughly. Bitcoin yield 26%, achieved in 2025 year to date. 12.9 billion Bitcoin gained achieved in 2025. Here's MicroStrategy's numbers. Pretty good. Must have came out earlier, but I just didn't see it. Still waiting on Apple here right in the middle. Apple's numbers are the main event today, I think. It's supposed to release in about 6 minutes, a little bit less than that. Yeah, Bitcoin's been struggling recently, but those are good numbers for MicroStrategy. And they got an average Bitcoin price with all the Bitcoin they have at 75, roughly 1,000. All right, guys, wait on Apple here. We got 5.5 minutes. 4:30 is when it's technically scheduled to release here. So, see. At 273s. Amazon at 243s here. Look at Amazon bounce at 242.50s. Less than 5 minutes. Again, really, Apple numbers can drop anytime in the next 5 minutes. Like, as we get closer to the technically scheduled time, they could really release anytime in the next 5 minutes. Yeah, Netflix did a 10-to-1 split. I told, if anybody watches my morning streams, I told people I thought Netflix would split sometime in the next year. And this was months ago, but yeah, it's not a shock. I mean, anytime a major stock gets over $1,000, especially a Mag 7 stock that has buyers interested, you're starting to price out buyers. They want to lower the price, kind of boost this, boost the actual price a little bit when they do. So 4.5 minutes here, chat. And 4:30 is when Apple's technically scheduled. They could release it anytime right now, anytime. Amazon dipping down, still holding at that support level I drew here. Coinbase still falling. Bitcoin holding at 107 though so far. Yeah, I mean, MicroStrategy's wild though in price. It moves big amounts, big percentages. All right, guys, 4 minutes, less than that. All right, guys, wait for Apple here. Apple's set to drop anytime in the next 3.5 minutes. Again, strategy guidance assumes year-end 25 Bitcoin price of 150,000. And Apple at 274s, MicroStrategy 265s, Amazon 243s, Apple up to 273.60s. You'll see the numbers though. Apple will move more when the numbers actually drop though. Like, you'll be able to see it. We got 3 minutes left technically, but when Apple numbers come out, you'll be able to see the big swings in the price. All right, here we go. MicroStrategy finally pushing up a little bit from their earnings. I didn't think we're bad. One and a half minutes. All right, look, MicroStrategy numbers are out. I'm going to put Apple numbers up here. All right, 273.20s for Apple so far. Again, just to put this in perspective, numbers to watch for Apple ahead of this. Again, iPhone 17 demand, AI roadmap, with a lot of people saying Apple's lagging behind. AI services, China market, valuations, trends. Apple is expecting 173 on 101.27 billion in revenue They're set to release live in about 2 minutes here, give or take. Apple earnings are not out yet. They're supposed to drop at 4:30 in about a minute and a half. Hey, we got over 1,000 people here. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. Thanks. Again, we're at 273s. All right, we got about 1 minute, guys. 1 minute. Apple's always slow with this type of stuff. Let me know your last minute thoughts in chat. Buy or sell. Honestly, its timer's a little bit early. We technically have about 50 seconds. Put it in 2x speed, hit the live button, you'll catch up to the stream. Get 273s. Apple a day keeps inflation away. Tell me about that iPhone inflation, brother. Here's the previous close at 269.70. Some levels to watch for Apple. Obviously the high up here. I think 275 is a big number right there. We got the previous closing price right here. This 269.70, right around 270. Right under 270 is a big support level. It's a previous closing price. And here's the number in 15 seconds, technically. We'll see if it comes out then. It could be late. Watch for movement here on Apple. And here's the time right now. Watch Apple now. There it goes. Boom. They released it exactly at that time. Down to 266. On earnings, 266. Apple down to 263s, 264s, 265s. Sheesh, dude. Big drops. Apple numbers, 185 versus 177. Again, 185 versus 177 for Apple. 102.47 versus 102.19 billion. So slightly better, but not that much better than expected here. Again, so Apple is out. They are not reacting well to this. Again, they're at 263.30s. Again, Apple posted 185 versus 177. Fourth quarter revenue at 102.47. Expected at 102.19. Fourth quarter services revenue 28.75. Expected 28.18. Apple fourth quarter Greater China revenue 14.49 billion. They expected 16.43 billion. Again, I'll put these numbers up on the screen, but that is Apple's numbers here. Apple's not reacting very well to this. And here's the numbers right here. We have deeper numbers. Again, fourth quarter services revenue, 28.75 versus 28.18 expected. Fourth quarter Greater China revenue, 14.49 versus expected 16.43. So they're losing money overseas. They're losing revenue overseas. They did not come in as expected for their fourth quarter Greater China revenue. Everything else was mostly flat outside of EPS, but even EPS was pretty flat. Again, so I wouldn't say this is a good earnings report for Apple. Let me get myself out of the way here. I'm kind of blocking the screen. But yeah, Apple down on their earnings report, not reacting very well to this. I'll have to fix the green screen later. Numbers, I would say, I mean, it's hard to tell whether these numbers are good or bad. The market has reacted negatively. I think they missed some China numbers. Again, they beat revenue and they beat EPS. Here's the technical numbers here. But they missed China revenue. They're still flat, though. They're not really down a huge amount or anything like that. So, again, Apple's numbers are out. Just to read the quotes they said today Apple is very proud to report a September quarter revenue of 102.5 billion, including a September quarter revenue for iPhone and all-time revenue record for services. Tim Cook said he said in September, we are thrilled to launch our best iPhone lineup ever, including iPhone 17, iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max, and iPhone Air. In addition, we launched fantastic AirPod Pro 3 and the all-new Apple Watch lineup. When combined with the recent announcement of MacBook Pro and iPad Pro with the powerhouse M5 chips, we're excited to be sharing our most extraordinary lineup of products as we head into the holiday season. Our September quarter results capped off a record fiscal year with revenue reaching 416 as well as double-digit EPS growth. And thanks to our very high levels of customer satisfaction and loyalty, our installed base of active devices also reached a new time high. All product categories and geographic segments. Declared a cash dividend 26 cents per share, payable November 13th. Yeah, so again, iPad sales 6.92 billion, fact test consensus 6.94. So they missed iPad sales, they missed that number as well. Yeah, Apple kind of missed. I would say this is kind of a disappointing. It's not even super disappointing. It's more so just not great. You know, it's just not great. It's not bad, but it's just not great. And I think the market expected more for Apple, especially with people considering elevated price. Here's Apple over the last few months since May. You know, it's all the way up to 270s from 200. So percentage-wise, it's a very large percentage. Yeah, Amazon did great. So Amazon did pretty good. Yeah, Amazon did pretty good. Apple did okay. I think flat is great for Apple. Yeah, and again, look at Apple dip here. So Apple's down. Not a shock. Again, just to recap these news, iPhone sales 49 versus 50 billion expected. So they missed, you know, iPhone Q4 sales 49 billion versus analyst estimates of 50.1 billion. Mac sales 8.73 versus consensus of 8.63. Yeah, it's an A-, but the expectations were an A+. That's basically true, yeah. But yeah, guys, hey, we'll see. We did break 167,000. I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. And yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. Hey, y'all be safe, guys. Have a great day. Again, check out Top Step. You want to help support the channel? Day trade with us every day. We day trade live on stream every single day. We cover all the breaking news in markets every morning in pre-market. We cover all the breaking news. So if you haven't already, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Check out Top Step. Beautiful way to help support the channel. And yeah. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. As soon as I close the stream, I'll put the link up for Top Step if you want to check it out. So again, we did get a trade deal announced, but I'll put the link up for Top Step if you want to check it out. Great way to help support the channel. No PDT rule in futures. Y'all be safe. Government's still closed. But again, if you want to check out Top Step, they're a sponsor of mine, so I'm kind of biased in their favor. But genuinely useful for traders. Here's the link right here. And again, y'all be safe today. We'll see what Apple does moving forward for the rest of the hour. There's the link. Again, y'all be good. Again, as soon as I close this stream, it should bring you to the tomorrow's stream. I'll see you guys over there. And yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow. Last day of the week. Later, chat.